This will be the first example for friction clutch. Okay, so let's take a look at the question first. Now, determine the maximum, minimum, and average pressure in a plate clutch or a disc clutch when the actual force is 4 kilonewton or 4,000 newton. Now, the inside radius of the contact surface, that means the minimum radius or the inner radius, is 50 millimeter. The outside radius or the maximum radius is 100 millimeter. This question, they ask us to assume uniform wear. So there's a difference between uniform wear and uniform pressure theory. Uniform wear theory states that, okay, it states that, okay, the pressure varies inversely proportional to radius. So that means the product of pressure and radius is equal to a constant. Okay, so when you look at this diagram here for uniform wear, okay, so the minimum pressure actually is acting at the outer radius, whereas maximum pressure will be acting at the inner radius. That is what it means by pressure varies inversely with the radius. So that is only for uniform wear theory. For uniform pressure theory, the pressure distribution over the entire friction lining material is constant. Okay, so based on uniform wear, P max multiplied by R min equals to C. Okay, so the product of maximum pressure to minimum radius is equal to the constant C. So the maximum pressure, if you want to find maximum pressure, make sure you make use of minimum radius or the inner radius, not the outer radius. Okay, so if you want to find minimum pressure, then you will have to use the maximum radius. Okay, now based on the questions, I have listed down formula to be used. First is a formula that we use in order to determine or to find the constant C, where the W here is the spring force, which is 4 kilonewton or 4,000 newton. The R here is the maximum radius, the uppercase letter R, and this is the lowercase letter r. So the uppercase letter R, the maximum radius should be 100 mm or 0.1 meter. Depending on whether you want to express your C in terms of Newton per millimeter square, Newton per millimeter or Newton per meter. Okay, so for average pressure, you just take force over area, where the force is 4 kilonewton. Okay, that is the spring force. The area would be the surface area of the friction lining material here. Okay, the friction lining material. So that will be given by pi r square minus r square. Okay, so that will be the area, the surface area of the friction lining material. That is only for average pressure, the average pressure or the mean pressure. Okay, and that can also be applied to uniform pressure theory. But here, what we are looking at is uniform wear. So uniform wear, you have max, mean, and average. But in uniform pressure theory, you only have this. You don't have P max, P min, because the pressure are all the same. So the solution here, the W is given as 4,000 Newton. So you apply this formula to find out the constant C. So the W is 4,000, the outer radius 0.1, inner radius 0.05. So you can find out the constant C of 12.73 Newton per meter. It's not Newton meter. Yeah, this is my mistake here. And then based on uniform wear theory, to find maximum pressure, we can take C divided by its inner radius. So you have the maximum pressure. Then for the minimum pressure, you have the constant C divided by the outer radius. So you get a minimum pressure of 127.3 Newton per meter square. That is the unit for pressure. So for the constant C should be Newton over meter. So to find the average pressure, you just simply take the force divided by its area. So the area is based on the outer radius and the inner radius. So you got the average pressure of 169.8 Newton per meter square. That's all for this example. Thank you very much.